What's going on YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, I'm going to tell you that if you are a successful recruiter and you work for one of the top firms in America like Adecco, Allegis, Robert Half, Kelly Services, you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, before you get all upset and all mad about how I'm calling you out for working for one of these large firms that doesn't pay you well and doesn't treat you well, just hear me out. Now, if you're not new to my channel, you already know that I run my own recruiting agency and I'm in the recruiting space and I have not worked for one of these large firms, but I do have tons of friends that have worked for large firms like Robert Half and Randstad, etc. And I know all about what they do and how they operate. So listen, I really just want to break it down for you. As a top performing recruiter, if you're working for a large firm, you definitely are making a huge mistake and you are definitely leaving money on the table. You're probably making around a $50,000 or $60,000 base salary and you're probably getting about 10% on every deal that you bill. So if you are a top performer and you're billing about $500,000 for the company every single year, that would be about $50,000 in extra commission for you, pre-tax of course. So that would take your total gross revenue at about $100K, right at six figures. Listen, I don't do this channel just to be mediocre. I don't do this channel to not inspire people. So six figures flat does not inspire me, and I don't think it's really that all impressive. In fact, I think you could be doing a whole lot better, probably about 3 times as better. Listen, I know exactly what you're thinking, but Ben, I have a non-compete agreement with Robert Half, and I would never be able to violate that and ever be able to start my own recruiting agency. Come on now, let's be real. Your non-compete agreement is most likely restricted to a geographical region, like you can't recruit in 100 or 150 mile radius of where you used to recruit, or it might be niche focused, like you can't work on tech, or you can't work on medical roles, or something like that. Big deal. Can you switch niches for a year? For God's sake, go work on general labor, work on light industry, work on administrative assistants, work on warehouse workers. Do whatever it takes. Just work on that for 6 months to a year and get yourself out of that agreement. So let's just compare apples to apples. What do you get when you work at a large Big 5 recruiting firm? You get a suite of software tools, you have a little bit of training, and you're basically left to the wolves to work on finding clients or working with candidates. Now tell me what part of that you can't do on your own as a lone wolf? I mean, honestly, do you even realize how many people are actually starting recruiting agencies from scratch, doing multiple 6 figures, having zero training, and literally billing way more than you are at your 9 to 5? Listen, let's just run the numbers. In your first year solo, if you were to set up your own agency, you would definitely do 3 times your income at your previous gig. The reason I say 3 times is because we're calculating in the base salary of about $50,000 that you were gonna make, plus you would keep 100% of the commission of all the clients and all the placements that you make, which previously you had been only taking 10% of. By the way, you're gonna 3x that income working in about half the time. The politics and bureaucracy that are at large firms like Robert Half and Randstad just slow everything down. They make it really, really difficult to move nimble and fast and quick with your clients and just make placements. If you still want to be a workhorse and work 10 hours a day, then you're gonna 8x your income. The reason I say that is because not only are you going to maintain your base income, but you're then going to actually 8x what you've been making because you're going to be taking 100% of that commish, plus you're going to be adding more clients and more candidates and thus more placements. Understand that going solo means you're creating a personal brand. And it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So eventually in year 1, year 2, you begin to develop your own client base. And that client base is gonna do repeat business with you nonstop. And oh, did I mention once again, you get 100% of that cut. I mean, can you honestly look me straight in the face, seriously, and tell me you don't know the industries, tell me you don't know the client acquisition, tell me you don't know how to interview candidates, tell me you don't know how to do this all on your own? Seriously, anyone that's billing $500,000 or so and taking home $50,000 and then 10% on their $500,000, you literally should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. The reason that you get stuck at these large firms and you stay there for 5 years, 10 years, and you just climb a fake corporate ladder is because you've admired that company ever since you started there, and you've drunk the Kool-Aid, and you're incredibly intoxicated on it now, and you're climbing a fake corporate ladder. Yes, I will admit, there are totally people that just want to collect a W-2, and that's totally on them. However, if you have the skills to bill $500,000 a year for someone else, why are you not doing it for yourself? Now, these top players aren't going anywhere. Robert Half's not shutting down. Aerotek isn't going anywhere, but you can, and you should. If you're a top biller, if you're someone that's making a boatload of money, you shouldn't be making it for someone else. You should definitely be making it for yourself. Success is your obligation, your responsibility, and your duty. And I highly believe, for myself and for others, that you should be serving yourself, your family, those around you, and not some large corporation. If you're that talented, move on. So I know there's just going to be a ton of hate about this video, and I'll hear all about that in the comments. That's totally fine, but those that don't hate it, please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe if not already. Hit the alert button so you know every single time I come out with a new video. Until then,